All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name's Jay Croft. I'm with Prime Fit Content, and I'll be moderating today with Krishea Holloway from Curves. Krishea is going to talk to us about turning your passion into a business, which is something that I'm sure we all can relate to and could benefit from her wisdom on this. She's got three objectives here for us. We're going to understand the multiple business options, how to take actionable steps to start a business, and the pros and cons of owning your own business. Krishea started her career with Curves when she was just 21 years old, opening her first franchise in '97. It quickly grew and became one of the most successful Curves franchises. So she's holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Hawaii, and she and her husband have a son. They enjoy the salt life and spending time on the water, fishing and boating. Now that sounds like a beautiful thing to be doing today.
Well, I wish that we were in Denver. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Thank everybody for joining. I will be muting and unmuting participants throughout the presentation for questions, interaction, etc. You can turn your camera on during the presentation if you'd like, again, to help with just participation. Grab a pen and paper and take notes and ideas, and I will address questions at the end of the session. All right, there we go. So as Jay said, my presentation today is turning your passion into a business. And our agenda today is I'm going to take you through coach versus an entrepreneur, pros and cons of owning your own business, business options, because there's a lot out there, tools that are needed, and resources and Q&A. As I said, my name is Krishea Holloway. I am the president of Curves North America and Oceania. I take care of the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. I did start my Curves career in 1997 and had franchises until about 2008. And I've been on the Curves corporate team since about 1998 until present. Kind of tell you a little bit about myself. Unlike most of you, I was not in the fitness industry when I started my Curves career. I've always been passionate about business. I actually think I was born as an entrepreneur. I bought my first pair of Guess jeans selling sugar daddies under the lunchroom table. Growing up, I spent much of my free time participating in karate. And when we weren't competing, I would sit in a corner thinking of all the ways to take the karate business and make it truly that. Back then, most karate studios were owned by previous men in the community who had come back from their military experience and was doing it on a very part-time basis in addition to their career. But I always thought that there was a much bigger business opportunity, and happy to see that that industry has also expanded over the years. I did move to Hawaii at the age of 18 with my husband. He was stationed there, and went to the University of Hawaii and got my accounting degree. Really thought I was going to become a CPA. Headed back to the States to do just that. And along the way, we stopped home, and my mom asked me to go work out with her. She told me, don't worry about makeup. You're not going to see any old boyfriends. It's a new place in town called Curves. And went in and worked out, thought the concept was amazing, 30 minutes, a lot of fun, a lot of energy. And it was the fourth franchise to open for Curves in my small town. So today, I think that was just a blessing from God. But looking back and going through that club, the owner was there that day, and she told me that I could start my Curves franchise for $19,900, and that was over 23 years ago. And I thought, my car cost more than $19,900. And it doesn't make me any money. So I maxed out several credit cards and signed my first franchise agreement. Curves has given me an opportunity to take my passion for business, my entrepreneurial spirit, and my passion to help strengthen women. Along the way of becoming a Curves franchisee, I started working with other club owners as a mentor, helping them open during their first 4 days of business. And that's really where my passion started, on helping others become better business owners. Being a business owner is not something that comes naturally for most people. It takes a lot of education and work, just like anything else in life. So as I began my corporate career, I did transition from being a Curves owner into corporate full-time, and I'm very honored to serve as the president and CEO of Curves at this time. So like I said, my passion doesn't necessarily start in fitness like most of you, but I am very excited about being in the fitness industry over the last 22 years. So I'm going to take a quick pause right now, and if you would put in the chat room kind of what your passion is specifically. And you can also unmute and speak up that way as well. Let me find my chat. There we go. If you can't find the chat in your Zoom, it's down at the bottom. You might have to click more to find the chat. And again, you can unmute. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and continue because I know you're all passionate about fitness, or you would not be part of the Functional Aging Institute. To tell you a little bit about Curves and why I'm passionate about business, Curves was established in 1992. We have over 27 years of experience in the fitness industry. We are the innovator of the Express workout, working every major muscle group so that women experience a full body workout in just 30 minutes. The Curves workout focused on the combination of strength training and cardio to work every major muscle group. While others focused on cardio workouts for women, Curves educated women on the importance of strength training. And we know that's really been the missing link in women's fitness. And it is also why Texas A&M has studied our program for the last 17 years, is to really bring to light the strength training component of Curves. The Curves franchise system grew quickly to the largest fitness franchise from 1992 to 2009. This period of time was known as the Curves phenomenon. A Curves location opened about every 15 minutes for 4 years, growing to over 70 countries. Curves is still one of the largest fitness franchise locations. Curves is unlike any other gym or fitness club designed specifically for women. Curves clubs provide a welcoming, inspiring, and empowering environment for fitness, weight loss, and healthy living. We have a strong focus on real women and real results, and this includes non-scale victories. We want our members to live the best lives. We've often been imitated, but never duplicated. Several hot fitness concepts today have been modeled after the Curves model. Who is our consumer? Well, this is why we're so excited to be part of the Functional Aging Institute, is because our demographic is the 50+ woman. The fitness industry is saturated for the under 40 market, and we have found a comfortable space with this demographic, providing not only results, but community. And we all know how important that is. Looking to stay active and or lose weight, keep her balance, strength, and flexibility, and joins a community. We have a unique niche with the mature woman. Passion is what drives you to do something. It's what you love and take risk to do. Passion compels you to take that risk, push yourself past your current limit. It could be a hobby, a sport, art, anything that you feel strongly about. Passion is what will inspire you and encourage you when you come up to those challenges. Confucius said, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And you'll hear people say that often when they're passionate about what they're doing. If you haven't figured out what makes your eyes light up and your heart beat fast, it's okay. Not everyone's driven the same way, or not everybody wants to have a business. If you're sitting here today, maybe you're saying, how do I turn what I love doing, fitness, into a business? Well, passion is something that you love to do, something you love to talk about, and something that makes your eyes light up with excitement. Are you willing to treat your passion like a business? Mindset is crucial to so many aspects of success, but I think treating your passion like a business is key. What do I mean? So your fitness is your passion and you have decided to create a business out of it. You will need to treat it as a business, which means showing up every day, taking responsibility, and working hard. I will say that you will probably work harder than any previous jobs. Being your own boss isn't always glamorous. It will mean spending hours and days behind a computer or updating your website or your social media accounts or doing local area marketing out in your community. Working on your laptop at the beach is only for those pictures and movies. Don't let social media fool you. Trust me. You're going to work hard, but you're going to be working hard for you and your family. Businesses start and fail in the US at an increasing, staggering rate. Every year, over 1 million people in the country start a business of some sort. Statistics tell us that by the end of the first year, at least 40% of them will be out of business. Within 5 years, more than 80% of them, 800,000, will have failed. And the rest of the bad news is, if you own a small business that has managed to survive for 5 years or more, don't breathe a sigh of relief yet, because more than 80% of small businesses that survive the first 5 years fail in the second 5 years, leaving just 40,000 from the original 1 million 10 years later. Hopefully at this point, I haven't scared you too much, but what makes that 40,000 people different than the 800,000 that failed? Is it passion that made the difference? Well, I would argue to say that all 1 million of those people that started these businesses had one thing in common. What do you think that one thing in common is? Passion. So why did they fail? Passion is the key ingredient to any successful business, but it takes so much more. So let's start in the middle of the circle with action. They say 99% of success is just showing up. I have to agree. Business owners that make it show up. They show up to do the things that other people think are too hard. They show up to do the things that make them feel uncomfortable. They do the things that may not be popular or make them likable. They do the things that other people are simply not willing to do. Secondly, they do it now. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't wait until they feel ready to do something. Most of the time, it's too late. You notice that I have a passion and action in the middle of the circle because they touch everything in your business. And for that matter, your life, right? The next area I want to discuss is demographic. Demographic is all about your customer. Who are they? What do they want? How to create an experience and a message that they will respond to. Start asking yourself some of these simple questions. What makes you and your offer different? Who needs you and who would benefit from what you are offering? What will make your customers keep coming back? I will say the one thing for this particular area, demographics, is don't try to be everything to everyone. This is where so many small businesses fail. They try to satisfy the needs of too many demographics. And those demographics need to decide who you are serving, and you want to wow that demographic. Would you agree that fitness is faddish? Again, it's important to decide your demographic. I want to take a few seconds. With Curves, we evolved very, very quickly. When we first opened over 27 years ago, we opened in small towns that had never seen a fitness facility. And we opened for an all-women's concept. So we attracted women of all ages into Curves. As we have evolved over the years, we have tried to be everything to everyone at some point, whether that was because of our growth. We moved into the diet space for a little while. We brought on Jillian Michaels when our demographic is 50 plus. We've done a lot of things over the years, but we want to stay true to that demographic of 50 plus women. That's where we can serve, and that's who we can wow. Service. Service is how you deliver your product. Does it create delight for customers who buy again and again? Great service is what sets you apart from your competition. Consider that most fitness businesses are monthly subscriptions. You have to keep reselling them month after month because of your service. Again, you want to wow them. You have to keep your members engaged and motivated to continue to buy each month. In the fitness business, this happens through results. You have to sell the member with each workout, each week, each month to keep them coming. Without great service, you can't upsell additional services. 25% of the fitness income comes from upselling. About 75% comes from monthly membership subscriptions. Your passion usually helps you deliver great service. But how about your employees? Do you have a system in place that they can follow to create the same great experience and service that you deliver as the owner? Sales. That's going to be our third circle. Sales is about helping prospects become customers and building a relationship with them so they continue to buy from you. Do you have a sales process? Is this something that they can replicate? Is it something that you can teach your staff? For that matter, can you sell? Not everyone is a salesperson. If you can't do the selling, how will you gain new members? Often asking people to buy is uncomfortable for many people. The great thing is about fitness is you're not selling an item that can be put into a closet or something that is a waste of time, energy, or their money. You are selling a healthy lifestyle. So it makes selling easier, in my opinion, because you're selling health. You're selling that healthy lifestyle. You're not selling something that is just a quick purchase that they're going to put into the closet later. This is an area where the passion can help. It's also an area where passion can get you into trouble. Your passion for your product and service will often help you sell, even if it's not natural for you. But it can also hinder your sales because you know so much. Sometimes you spew all over the potential guest and they don't want to buy. You've told too much, you've given too much information, and they've talked themselves out of making that purchase. Our sales process includes a phone script. Do you think it's appropriate to, think about other businesses out there? Every great business uses a script, whether that is your cell phone company. For the ones of us that travel, if you get on an airplane, your Delta flight attendant says the same thing every time, right? All successful businesses have scripts. And having a sales process is vital. As I mentioned earlier, as the owner, your passion can generally drive the sale. But you have to have those areas that you can teach your first employee to your 10th employee to your 50th employee. You have to have systems in place. And as I mentioned, a sales process includes your phone script, your sales script, and your closing script. How do you collect the money at the end? You got them in the door, you've done maybe a consultation or gone through the presentation. Now, how do you ask them for money? The third part of that is generally the hardest for most people. A lot of times transference of feeling falls into that sales process. So it's important that you have a system in place that you can teach that first employee and onward as you grow. Guest production is the fourth circle. Guest production is how your business turns strangers into prospects in the first place. The fitness business is about relationships. You must be out in your community sharing how your program impacts the life of your demographics. This is your opportunity to share your passion about your business. Although it's your opportunity to share your passion in the area where most people struggle. Guest production means you have to step outside of your comfort zone. It's hard for a lot of people to talk to others and share what they do. If you wait until you're ready, then you've waited too long. You must market your business to produce guests. Without guests, you will have no new customers. It's important that you have guests on your appointment book every day. So how will you market your business? With limited funds, where are people going to find you? How are people going to talk about you? The easiest way to start with guest production is starting with your current clients if you already have some. Maybe that you haven't started your business yet. Getting them to be raving fans and you're wowing them, they're going to start spreading the word. So who's your number one guest production producer? Your buddy referrals, those that are being referred to by your members, your clients, your customers. Then where else can you market? When time, money, and resources are limited when you first start a business, it's real important to stay within that area of where your location is. Most people are within 5 miles of where they work out. So you want to go a mile out from where your location is and really saturate that market with your time, money, and resources. Then as that expands, go to 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Again, when time, money, and resources are limited, start at your central hub, which is your location, and work outward. Many business owners struggle to make the shift from working in their business to working on their business. When you're working on your business, it's different because you're doing so many different things such as management. When you're working in your business, you're generally the person doing the class, maybe the group training session. You're the personal trainer that's actually one-on-one with the member. So working on your business versus in your business is completely a different mindset. Working on their business because they're so used to running the day-to-day operations, like I said, working in the business, that you don't realize what is required to do things differently. It's not about the tactics or a to-do list. It's about the owner's mindset and how they view their role in the business. Since it's your company, your name on the door, and your signature on the checks, I want you to think about doing this in an owner's way. But until you can break free from the mindset, you're stuck working in the business. And another word for that is the technician. You're the technician that's working in the business. And you've got to walk away from that and say, okay, how can I go from being the technician to the manager to the owner? You've got to be able to walk away and do all of those things. I want to share a quick story about the shift of moving from that mindset. Taking care of working in the business versus on the business. Traveling, walked into a small pizza shop, small owner, and as I placed my order, walked into the restroom, and there was absolutely no toilet paper. And this was pre-COVID. And so I go out and I say, excuse me, do you have any toilet paper? And the guy goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to get to the store. So he was so busy working in the business that he forgot to work on the business, taking care of placing orders and doing the things that needed to be done, placing orders for supplies, paying bills, marketing. He was so busy building pizzas that he forgot about the other things when it comes to being a business owner. People and processes are about people, hiring them, keeping them happy, being productive, and growing. As a business owner, and especially one with lots of passion, this can be tricky. Even with all the passion in the world, you can't run a business on your own. You have to have help. Let me repeat, you cannot run a business on your own. You will need help. I know you all think you're probably Superwoman or Superman, but from experience, let me tell you that it will take you longer without a team. And it takes a team to help you be successful. A strong, generous team to help you be successful. What builds a strong team? A clear plan and common goals. As simple as management sounds, this is where many fail. You have to create the plan. Communicate that plan to your team so that you can action the plan. Implement the plan, and most importantly, you as the owner must follow up and check that the plan has been executed. Just because you say, hey, we're going to go market at this place for 2 hours does not necessarily mean that that plan was executed and done. So you have to follow up. Failure to check or follow up with people will lead to business failure. Employees want to be led and guided and coached. This keeps them engaged with you and the business. Without it, they don't understand how to personally contribute to the greater picture. Entrepreneurs, you wear many hats. We wear the coach's hat. We may have a marketing hat, a salesperson hat, customer care, and accounting. We wear many hats as business owners. I want to talk for a second about an entrepreneur versus a coach/employee. For a coach, you instruct, direct, or prompt. An employee is someone who is employed by another for wages and salaries and is positioned below the executive level. An entrepreneur is one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of the business or the enterprise. As a business owner, you want to build a business that creates revenue. A coach is someone who owns their own job, that is self-employed, which means no coaching, no revenue. I'll use my mom as a great example. My mom has been a hairstylist pretty much my whole entire life. She has owned her own hair salon during that time. However, she's her only employee. When my mom comes and visits, there's no revenue coming in for her. She has to plan accordingly to take her vacations and to take the days off, because when she's not standing there those hours every single day in her shop, she is not making any revenue. She does not have other ladies working with her, underneath her, or renting a booth from her. So that is called self-employed. You are owning your own job. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. You're trading time for money. And in the fitness industry, that's really hard because eventually our bodies are going to wear out. You may be able to teach 5 classes this year, but that may go down to 2 classes in a few years from now. So again, trading time for money. As a business owner, you're building a business that's creating revenue for you. So when you do need to take that day to go do something with your family, or you want to take a vacation, or your body can't produce, 5 classes a day, then money is still being generated because you're a business owner. Does that make sense? So business options: self-employed, non-brick and mortar, generally speaking, in the fitness industry. You're showing up, whether that's at a client's home, you're doing PT sessions at a gym. Business owner generally means a brick and mortar. And then you also have a franchise options, which are generally brick and mortar, and sometimes non-brick and mortar, which I'll explain in a little bit. So what are some cons to being a business owner? So what are some cons of being a business owner? This is generally where I open it up for comments and throughout the room. So if you would be so kind to chat or to unmute yourself and just identify some cons of these business models. Well, go ahead and get us started. Some cons of being self-employed. I did mention a few that, if you're trading time for money. So those are some cons of being self-employed. Business owner, there's a lot more involved in being a business owner. You have employees, you have taxes for those employees. You have so many other things. All right, we're getting some chats coming in. Startup, capital. Self-employed, a con is low ceiling. There's only so much you can do. Thank you, Felicity. Hard to take time off when you're self-employed. Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you. Keep those coming in. And then what are some cons about a franchise system? Some of the cons is that you don't have all of the flexibility. We'll talk about pros in a second, But some of the cons is you don't have all of the flexibilities because as a franchise system, you're following their model and their franchise agreement. There's also royalty fees that go along with franchising as well. Yes. Anybody else? Thank you for that. All right, let's jump into the pros. So what are some pros of being self-employed? Some pros of being self-employed is you do get to decide and determine the hours of day that you work. You move at your own pace. Yes. You can direct your future. Yes. Self-employed pro, absolute freedom on all aspects. Yes. No limit by bureaucracy. Correct. Awesome. Keep those coming in. Those are all correct. And then with the franchise system, a pro is that you have the marketing tools, a system in place to help guide you with the direction of the business. So real quick, what is a franchise? Franchising is simply a method for expanding a business and distributing goods and services through a licensing relationship. In franchising, franchisors, a person or company that grants the license to a third party for the conducting of business under their trademarks, not only specific to products and services that they will be offered by the franchisee. A person or company who is granted the license to do business under the trademark and trade name by the franchisor, but also provide them with an operating system, brand, and support. A brief separate glossary of franchising terms are available on the International Franchising Association website. The reason I bring up franchising, obviously, Curves is a franchise. But it's also a very popular way to get into the fitness business. All right. Again, franchising, there's some advantages and disadvantages of franchising. Some disadvantages, people see it as requires more capital. Franchising may be more difficult to obtain. Some advantages can also be disadvantages depending on the franchising opportunity, depends on the low or high startup. You know, independence and creative freedom could be a disadvantage that people think about during franchising, but then others appreciate that because they don't have to think or be creative. They like having that cookie cutter opportunity. Buying a new franchise, there are, again, advantages and disadvantages of that. Personally, as someone who has bought a brand new franchise and a resale franchise, I personally like buying a business that's already in place because you have a foundation to build upon. As I mentioned earlier, I want the biggest guest production opportunity that I have is by referrals. So if I have a base to start going out in the community for me to generate those referrals, then I'm off to a faster start than I would be for opening a new franchise. Again, there's also an opportunity for buying existing franchises, and there are advantages there. Sometimes you can get those for a lesser amount than you could by opening a new franchise. Some disadvantages are you are taking over a business that someone else has already started. So you have to sometimes clean up some things as well. Here are some mobile franchise options. These are independent contract options. So you may have seen Beachbody, Camp Gladiator, Fit for Mom, If you were on my 11:30 presentation today, you may have seen Curves on the Go. All of these are mobile franchise options. So you don't have the brick and mortar, which is sometimes a larger expense. Most of these do not have employees. So they're kind of a self-employed / franchise at the same time. But all of these are some options to get your foot in the door with a business. Franchising opportunity, these are some more are your larger, bigger box brick and mortar locations. And then I want you to just, what does this represent? At this point, you know, looking into the mirror and saying, okay, what do I want? What do I want from here? Do I want to be self-employed? Do I want to be a business owner? Do I start as self-employed and then build my way up to a business owner? So you're probably here because you're thinking you're ready to make that switch to becoming a business owner or taking your business into the next, or your passion into the next level. So I want to talk about tools that you need to help get you started. The very first thing on my list is a supportive home front. If you're considering starting your own business, and you are, you know, have a partner, a spouse, it's very important to have a supportive home front. I can tell you that there's no way that I would have had the success that I've had over the years if my husband had not been fully supportive on the home front. Not only just saying that he agreed and supported me to do it, but also equally supported me in the home life chores, tasks that we have on each other. You know, really taking that sometimes off of my plate completely to allow me the freedom and the flexibility to stay solely focused on the business at hand. If you have someone on the other side of the house who does not believe in your dreams, your passion, it is very challenging to be able to be successful in the business. So number one thing that I believe that makes businesses successful is a supportive home front. The second thing is you determine the type of business model that you want. The next thing is the business name. And you may say, well, why is that important and why is that a tool? Again, I want to reflect back to my mom. Her shop is called Christie's. So at the end of, you know, when she's ready to retire, it's very difficult to sell a business that is named your name because it is your legacy. But if, you know, Susie wants to buy Christie's business, then Susie's working under Christie's, you know, legacy forever. So think about your business name as part of your exit strategy that I'll talk about in a little bit. But that business name, is it something that you could sell when you did get ready to, you know, change the way things are going in life or retire? So think about your business name. Insurance. Insurance is vital because you never want to start a business that could potentially hinder your home front or your personal life. And I'll talk about keeping your business and your personal life separate in a second. But insurance is very important. If you're doing classes in your home, your homeowner's insurance will not cover your business should something happen. And then in some cases, if something was to happen while in your home and you didn't have the right insurance, then your homeowners would cancel your insurance. So it's important to give your insurance broker as much information as possible to help you find the right insurance. Sports and fitness is a big brand name in the fitness industry. They have been Curves' insurance provider for the 27 years we've been in business. I highly recommend, if you don't already have a broker, reaching out to them and letting them answer your questions. A team. So the next part is an accountant. You need to understand how, and I'm going to put accountant and attorney together right now. You need to understand what's the best way to get your business in order. Is it a sole proprietor, which means everything is ran under your social security number? Is it an LLC or a corporation? Each one of those, sole proprietor, LLC, or corporation, all have different tax ramifications, and they all have different liabilities to you, the owner. Each family, each person is different. So again, talking to your accountant and your attorney on what's going to be the best for you is important on how to get that business started. And that kind of goes down to the next line, determining your business structure, sole proprietor, LLC, or corporation. And your accountant and your attorney can help you with that. In most cases, an accountant or attorney will meet with you for free the first visit, and then allow you to set up and determine pricing after that. So always take advantage of those free consultations when you're starting. Funding and capital. Where are you going to get your startup funding and capital? As I mentioned, I was 21 when I got started. I did max out some credit cards, not the way that I recommend starting now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, but then at the same time, I was able to, start my entrepreneurial passion at that time. But determine your funding and your capital. What do you have the ability to get access to? And what is it going to do to your personal life, your personal funds? There are some, funding and capital opportunities out there. Local banks are generally easier than your larger banks. So do some research, but there's lots of ways out there to generate funding and capital if you're truly ready to get started. Banking. Again, I recommend working with a local bank more than a big box bank. Here, the big things that I'm going to point out is keep your banking separate. Do not cross mingle money from your personal to your business. Don't pay something that's personal out of your business account, and don't pay something out of your personal account that's a business. Really try to start from day one, keeping your banking very separated from personal to business. This helps if you ever get audited by the IRS to keep everything clean. But secondly, with your exit strategy, your succession planning, if you're always commingling books, it's very hard for a buyer to see the true revenues that are coming in. In a lot of cases, you will lose a buyer because you've cross-mingled funds for so many years. So really keep that separate. Business license, your city and state. Every city and state is different. So make sure that you're talking to your small business association, your chamber of commerce, to determine what licenses you need. Again, each type of business will depend on the license that you need. Certifications. If you're saying that you are a physical therapist, then you need a physical therapist degree. If you're saying you're a personal trainer, then what certifications do you need to be considered a personal trainer? Same thing with a massage therapist. What certifications do you need to be able to market your business to make sure that those are meeting the same language? Location. This is important. If you're a brick and mortar, ask yourself a few things. What is the traffic like just passing by the building? Do I have good signage? Do I have enough parking? Many businesses, especially when it comes to fitness, run into a parking situation. And let's be honest, our customers and members are always looking for a really good reason not to exercise in most cases. So if they have to drive around the block or, figure out different parking, then a lot of times they'll talk themselves out of coming in, and then that decreases your retention rate. So you're looking for parking, signage opportunity, you're looking for traffic flow, whether it's a strip mall, downtown, which maybe doesn't have a lot of traffic like it used to. So look at all of those things as you're thinking about location. Who's your neighbor? Is there good lighting? Go there at dark and see what the lighting is like. For us, again, being solely, mainly for women, it's important that we have good lighting when, daylight savings happens and it gets dark at 5:30 in the evening. Team. Your staff and coaches, again, I'll reiterate, you cannot do this alone. You must have a team in place. Heaven forbid you get sick, need to take the day off. Who's going to come in and recover that shift for you? So making sure you have staff and coaches to do those pieces and parts of the business that you're not doing. And I'll say right here as well, if you are absolutely not comfortable with marketing, if you're absolutely not comfortable paying the bills or keeping up with that side of the business, and you truly just want to be the person who's coaching the classes and working with the members or your client, then you'll have to hire that person to be on your team, because that's not your forte. So you may have to hire for some skills that maybe you don't want to do or need to compensate for. Marketing, understanding your social platforms. Facebook is not for everybody. Twitter is not for everybody. So when it comes to, again, time, money, and resources, where do you need to spend your time to get the biggest bang for your demographic that you're going after? Signage. Signage is so important. Can it be read from a distance? Does it clearly state who and what you are? I've seen multiple businesses, restaurants particularly, go out of business because you couldn't tell what they were serving or what they were from their signage. Flyers and business cards. We are in an age of digital world technology, but I can say flyers and business cards are still vital to hand off as you're meeting people face to face and interacting with them at chamber events, expos, the grocery store, the bank, any place that you're physically seeing people. A business card and flyer cannot replace what the digital decade is doing for us. So always have flyers and business cards. Systems. I talked earlier that you have to have systems in place, a sales system. How do you service? Can you teach those team members to service, sell, and guest produce just like yourself? So having a system in place is key. A point of sale system, there's many out there, but you have to have a way to put an appointment in the book and get paid. So you really need a point of sale system. And then you've heard me mention earlier about your exit strategy. You may say, why would I already be wanting an exit strategy when I'm not even started my business yet? Well, you want to know how you can exit your business, because ultimately you're putting all of your, time, money, and resources into building a business right now. You don't want to just do that for the next 5, 10, 20 years and then walk away with nothing. So how will you walk away in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to have money coming in? Is that to sell the business? Is that, years ago, the generation before us would have said that a family member would take it over. Well, that's no longer the case in most situations nowadays. So what is your exit strategy? And it could potentially change, you know, in a year from now, but the naming, the location, the banking, all of those are things to think about for an exit strategy. Some resources that I like. E-Myth by Michael Gerber is probably one of my favorite books that talks about, you know, being an entrepreneur. Raving Fan by Ken Blanchard. We have to have raving fans to, you know, provide us referrals. 1 Minute Manager, Minute with Maxwell, the SBA.gov. Of course, by Curves, I have to give you that resource. Franchise.org and bizbuysell.com. All of these are great resources to look into as you're going through this process. I just want to wrap that we would love to have our fitness enthusiast on our team here at Curves. We have 3 great ways for our members to get stronger and for fitness enthusiasts to enter our business. We do have our franchise opportunity, which is our brick and mortar. We have an ambassador program with My Curves on Demand where you can refer our digital platform and make money. And then we have our Curves on the Go, which is our brand new franchise opportunity, which is basically taking our My Curves on Demand, our brick and mortar philosophy, and taking it on the go to churches, activity centers, you know, community centers, etc. So if you're interested in learning more about how to be a business owner and specifically with Curves, we would love to talk to you. You can submit that inquiry at buycurves@curves.com or text 254-652-0667. We have multiple ways that you can join the team. So at this time, I think I have a few minutes left. If I would take any questions that you may have. All right. Any questions?
Can we be unmuted for that? Is this okay
Yes.
that I'm asking
Yes,
it verbally?
that's perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So can other activities happen if it is a brick and mortar Curves? Can other activities take place such as meditation classes that aren't specifically Curves franchise?
So yes and no. It depends on the type of class and depends on how the affiliation is set up. So we can definitely answer those questions for you, but we do have some options where, you know, depending on the situation, there are other activities in a club, after hours, different things like that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And can men work at Curves if they, even though they can't take classes there, with the softening of the sexual boundaries, the gender boundaries, can a man work there as opposed to taking classes there?
Yes, we do have men owners and we do have some men coaches. So it depends on, you know, how it depends on the area. What we have found in most cases is our ladies love our men coaches and our men owners, and they respond quite well. So, you know, we do have some men owners and some men coaches, which I think that answers one of the questions in the chat as well.
Great, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Any other questions?
I think somebody did do a chat question when I was speaking. I saw one pop up on my screen.
How many Curves franchisees are owned by men or families? We do have some mother-daughters. I don't know right off how many of each. but we do have men owners, and we do have some that are family ran. Thank you so much for coming to the presentation. I hope that you were able to take away a few tips or thoughts that you haven't thought about before, and I'm happy to answer any questions as you think of those. So thank you again so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.